This mutation is called Shining Bright, and it is being played on missed opportunities. We have 3 mutators active. We have Purifier Beam, we have Concussive Attacks, and we have Laser Drill. And we have a Kerrigan and a Swann that will be attempting to do this mutation. So, before we get started with the game, let's talk about the mutator interactions between here. Yes, the Purifier Beam applies Concussive Attacks to your units. Yes, the Laser Drill also applies Concussive Attacks to your units. No, the Purifier Beam does not provide vision for the Laser Drill. The Purifier Beam is not considered an aim-on unit, so therefore if you are in range of the Purifier Beam, you will not be hit by the Laser Drill. Now do note though, if you are using cloaked units, what can happen is aim-on will send detection. And if you're playing up against a Protoss composition, sometimes there are observers that will provide vision for the Laser Drill, and it may be misrepresented as the Purifier Beam providing vision. But the Purifier Beam by itself does not provide vision for Amon's Laser Drill. So that's something to note here about the mutator set. We have Swann that has built a bunch of blaster abilities, and he's going to start clearing his expansion, which is the standard Swann expand build order. Over here we have Kerrigan, who has built a macro hatchery, and now she will be using a bunch of drones to start long distance mining here. Once Kerrigan is out, I believe the expand here for Kerrigan will be using Kerrigan herself to take out the rocks rather than a bunch of wings. There are 2 viable expands for Kerrigan. You can either use a bunch of wings, or you can use Kerrigan herself to clear the rocks out, and both are viable builds here for Kerrigan. You can see here that Swann has already taken the expand. He has salvaged one of his blaster abilities to provide him with the resources to build the command center, and now he is good to go. So yeah, that is actually pretty much actually a perfect build execution there for Swann. I still kind of struggle with that, but there we go. So that blast ability now is going to get salvaged as well, and Swann has his expansion set up at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And this is what you should be doing if you want to do. This is the standard Swann expand, by the way. There is nothing special about this. It's not a special mutator build. It is the standard Swann expand that you should be doing on pretty much every single game. So you can see here, Laser Drill hits a drone. Unfortunately, that drone gets completely roasted by the Laser Drill and then sliced up by the Zealots into sushi. And now we have a bunch of Zealots here that are there. Kerrigan has spawned and now has been debuffed by Concussive Attacks. She'll have to jump across here to help deal damage. And now we have the Ares drop as well, the combat drop for Swann. And now they will be going to clear the first camp here. We have a bunch of queens out here for Kerrigan. And Swann is building a couple of armories right now, and you'll see what the build here is for Swann. Kerrigan leading the front, and now she's cleaned up the first bot wave Terrazine Geyser, and now she's going to clear the second set of Terrazine Geysers as well. And you should be doing this anyway at the start of the mission. You have a lot of free time to go ahead and clean up, so just cleaning up these camps here just gives you a little bit of an advantage. It gives you a little bit more free time to go play ahead. I always say this, like, proactive play is always rewarded in co-op. If you're playing more aggressively, you know, you're playing more proactively, you can end up clearing ahead and making the mission a little bit easier. Purifier Beam has been aggroed onto these combat drop. I think this combat drop will be able to clear these Zealots before they end up getting destroyed or timed out by I think, yeah, so that is the combat drop taken care of. And now there's one more attack wave that has to be spawned before that wave of harvesting bots is safe. You see here there are a bunch of 3 queens, and now you might be getting an idea, or 4 queens, and now you might be having an idea on what Kerrigan is planning to do for this mission. And Swann is building up a starport now, so yeah, place your bets as what build Kerrigan is planning to do in this mission. This is also the reason why I chose to cast this game rather than one of my own runs with CDG. I think I did 2 or 3 runs with CDG for this mutation for the different commanders, and then I got this submission, and I could not turn that down because this is going to be incredible. You can see here Kerrigan is just playing hyper aggressively, taking out the static defenses, luring the units back, giving vision to the Laser Drill, which is a little bit annoying. Kerrigan's mobility with a leap is very, very useful as well. She uses her slidey move, ends up clearing out those units here. I forget what the slidey move is called. Again, for like probably the 5th time, I forgot what it's called. Psionic Shift, that's what it's called. There we go. So, Kerrigan has cleaned up that camp now. So there's one remaining camp for the next wave of harvesting bots. So not the current wave, but the subsequent wave. So and that is that stuff over here. So this will give her ally a little bit more time, a little bit more breathing room, and now we have a science vessel out as well. So unit-wise, we have 1 science vessel out for Kerrigan, and we have 6 queens, and then we have a Herc as well that's being spawned here for that. By the way, if anyone's wondering what this is, because sometimes I do get asked on Discord, this appears to be the mineral drops that are there for Swann. So yeah, it looks like these are the mineral drops from Kerrigan's assimilation aura. The Co-op is really weird. It is considered a mod for Starcraft. It is not an actual unique game mode. It's actually a mod. So you're taking the Starcraft engine and you're making it do things that it's not really made to do. But you can see how flexible and versatile the Starcraft engine is. But as a result, you do end up getting weird things like this that appears as a unit, like owned, which is not really true. But you know, there we go. So, we have another attack wave now that spawned, a couple of attack waves. The Purifier Beam is harassing this side. The Purifier Beam does not deal damage to the harvesting bots, which is one good thing about this. But the Purifier Beam will try and aggro your units, and you can see here the Purifier Beam is aggroed onto Kerrigan right now. Kerrigan's parked over here, she'll start taking damage, but now you can see that there's a Thor in the mix with a bunch of Hercules, and now they'll be good to go. So there's a little bit of micro on Thor to just reduce the amount of damage that they're taking. Zealots are dealing a lot of damage to the harvesting bot, but that harvesting bot is okay for the time being. The one thing to also note is the laser drill will deal damage to the harvesting bots. So you have to actually clear the vision out. The laser drill deals damage to the harvesting bots. The Purifier Beam does not. The reason why is because the Purifier Beam. The reason why the Purifier Beam and the Laser Drill behave differently is because the Purifier Beam is considered an environmental hazard. You can see over here this bot is moving through. The Purifier Beam is considered an environmental hazard, kind of like the lava spouts on Vermilion problem. So it just deals damage, it doesn't really provide... It's not considered an aim-on unit. The Laser Drill, on the other hand, is an aim-on unit. So it will target the harvesting bots, it will target bonus objectives, etc. You know, for example, it'll target around transport and stuff like that, because this is an aim-on unit. It's considered like something else that aim-on has access to. The Purifier Beam it's not the case for the Purifier Beams. That's just an environmental hazard. Aim-on doesn't really have control over it, even though it does deal damage. You can see over here, it's just a random thing that it doesn't really have any ownership. So that is why they behave a little bit differently. This is why also does not provide vision to aim-on's units. But there we go. So we can see here that Swann has produced a number of units. He has produced 7 Thors so far, and now we have 9 Queens for Kerrigan that are hanging around. And you now probably know what the build is here for the commanders. The commanders are going for a mass Queen Thor build. And it just goes to show you that as long as you play well, you can pretty much do any kind of meme build that you can think of. Now that being said, this mutation is a little bit easier. It is one of the easier mutations that are there. There are definitely more difficult mutations which does not make it viable, but you can see here that Kerrigan is offering her extractors to her ally, which is going to be very useful for Swann. Combined with the fact that Swann has his Vespine harvesters as well, his gas income is going to be really high. We'll be able to max out on that Thor build. So you can see here Kerrigan is using the Nice Worms to move the Queens. The Queens do not have the movement... the Queens have the movement penalty that Abathur does not have. So Abathur's Queens can walk over terrain and not really move slowly. But that is not the case when it comes to Kerrigan's Queens. Kerrigan's Queens are really slow-moving units when they're off creep. So Kerrigan is relying on the Nice Worms to not only sprint creep, but to move her army around. And we can see here a bunch of Thors as well now, dealing a lot of damage to the air units here. Now, unfortunately, the Thors in co-op are not as good as the Thors in ladder. So ladder Thors deal a lot of damage to air units. They can completely shred a Mutalisk Flock. That is not the case for the Thors in co-op. These things are really, they're basically single target damage, so they're a little bit slow to kill. They have really good anti-ground, but that's pretty much what makes them good. The anti-air damage is not very useful. There we go. Now we have 2 Purifier beams here, and the beams will be pretty much merged on this site. And now they're probably going to try and focus fire against the Nice Worm, which will probably end up merging both the beams. When the beams are merged together like this, it does make it a little bit easier to maneuver because they don't zone your army out as badly because there's only one beam, so to speak, to take care of. But the one thing that can happen, as you can see over here, that because there are two Purifier beams that are stacked on top of each other, the amount of damage they deal is doubled, obviously. And if you're not really paying attention, you can end up losing a unit so fast. So there we go, that Thor has just gone down and burned up as well through because the Immortality Protocol was not triggered. But you couldn't even trigger the Immortality Protocol before that you'd lose that Thor again. So that is one of the reasons why like merging two beams at the same time is okay, but you have to make sure you don't get caught by the beams here. So there's an Ice Worm unload now. A lot of queens have come out. How many queens is there? So there are a total of 21 queens right now for Kerrigan, and the queens are going to end up working away on this bonus objective. And that bonus objective will end up getting cleared. And you see here the Purifier beams are just aggro to these Ice Worms. So one thing you can do if you are playing Kerrigan is use the Omega Worms to draw aggro of the Purifier beam. And the Purifier beam will try and target your nearest the nearest unit. But there's a lot of advantage to having these Ice Worms because these Ice Worms are free. So there we go. You can see here that Amon is just trying to save this bonus objective by dealing some damage to these queens. But the bonus objective will end up getting cleared up. And now Amon is starting to focus fire on this damaged Thor here. So you can see Mortality Protocol just... Actually, that Mortality Protocol went off in time, but that Thor is just sitting there now. And it's going to eat a lot of damage. I think it's probably going to end up getting cleared up. But yeah, there we go. That bonus objective is done now. And now the commanders have to push into the next side. So the next set of harvesting bots is going to go up here. So they'll have to start pushing into there. You can see how the Purifier beam is actually dealing damage to these Ice Worms. And it's basically stuck on these Ice Worms. So all you have to do is just drop a bunch of worms around a certain area. And then the Purifier beam kind of gets stuck there and doesn't really end up doing anything. So... unfortunately, static defense, not a good idea here because of the Purifier beam and also because of the laser drill. The laser drill will try and focus fire down the static defenses if there's an Amon unit within vision. But there we go. So there we go. The laser drill is aggroing this because of the pylon over here. So once this pylon gets cleared, the laser drill will stop attacking. And yeah, the Purifier beam is on this side. So Kerrigan now is getting ready to push into this last enemy camp here. So I don't know if she's going to jump into the middle and cast... Okay, there we go. Immobilization wave comes out, and now the queens spawn as well. And these units are all going to fall along with the rest of the static defenses in this camp. And this camp has been cleared, and the next wave of harvesting bots are essentially safe. So 3 harvesting bots are out now, and they will be making their way towards the next set here. You see this Purifier is just harassing these turrets. And the one thing is that I did notice that Swann has gone for this fire suppression upgrade for these turrets, but unfortunately that's not going to be enough. It's a concentrated beam that gets, not concentrated, there's a pulse cannon that gets dropped, ends up cleaning out all those zealots, which is really good because the zealots have charge and they deal a lot of damage very, very quickly. And now they are just going to start doing drill versus drill, and they're going to start clearing out these enemy bases on this side. There's a spawn here. Kerrigan's in position again. Lots of queens to deal with a little bit of damage. I wonder if there are any transfuses going on these units. Kerrigan does not seem to be taking a lot of damage here. Seems to be okay. One last Corsair. Corsairs can't hit the harvesting bots because Corsairs don't hit ground. Harvesting bots, even though they're kind of tall, they're only considered ground units. So focus fire down with the concentrate with the drill on this side, and that area is the attack has been cleared up. So we have a bunch of queens here as well. Kerrigan is making her way towards this side. The laser drill starts to focus fire down this harvesting bot, and now the Thors are out, and they will end up cleaning up this harass wave as well. And the Ice Worms are still getting eaten away by the Purifier beam. Lots of air units again, which makes it a little bit unfortunate for Swann. Swann's not really getting a lot of value out of his Thors. They're not fighting to their full potential. But there we go. That base, I don't think that base has been cleared out before Swann lost vision. So we'll see if the commanders want to do an all clear. The one thing you can do is try and all clear the mission and then spawn camp the laser drill, which is sitting on here. You can see the red dot here. That's the laser drill. you can try to do this, but unfortunately the Purifier beams kind of get in your way. They will aggro your static defenses if you're not paying attention, and eventually they will end up cleaning up all the defenses that you put down to take out the laser drill. So unfortunately not very effective. Harvesting bots are making their way back, and now this is another attack wave that has spawned. And Kerrigan jumps in the middle, immobilization wave comes out, the Mega Worm gets dropped, Queen's unloaded, and now they're going to clean up all these carriers with very little resistance. And there we go. So that is that wave of harvesting bots taken care of. We now have one more wave and another bonus objective. And that will be the end of the mission. So let's see where the what the commander's plan is. There are a bunch of queens here that are kind of stranded. I think they're not put in the hotkey group there. You can see here this is aggroing at the Mega Worm. Just lots of like warnings everywhere saying, yeah, you're getting attacked, you're getting attacked. So Kerrigan is out now. I think that pro would have probably tried to rebuild all of that, which was kind of surprising because it did not do that. But then Nexus ends up getting cleaned up. I do not know if the commanders are going to have enough time to clean up the enemy base. I don't think they'll have enough time to do so, which is going to make it a little bit tricky because they kind of want to do the bonus objective as well. So Kerrigan is out now. Kerrigan has to be very careful when she engages this enemy camp here. One of the things that makes this enemy camp dangerous is that there's a hybrid dominator on this side. So the hybrid dominator will plasma blast you, and you can end up losing a lot of units there. But there's an unload now. Kerrigan's going to jump in. There's the plasma blast getting focused down on Kerrigan. Kerrigan loses a lot of HP. He burrows now. Unfortunately, that hybrid dominator has detection, so he doesn't really care if Kerrigan's burrowed or no. But now the mothership has been felled. And the hybrid dominator ends up going down because everything has detection now, and the bonus objective will end up being cleaned up very easily. But not a moment too soon because the next wave of harvesting bots is out and good to go. At least it will be out in just a little bit. There are 3 Purifier beams now on the map, and there we go. So. One of the good things about having Kerrigan is the mobility offered by the Nice Worm. So we have a bunch of science vessels here and a bunch of Hercs, but I don't know if the Hercs are going to be able to move Swann's army as quickly as the Nice Worms. The Nice Worms are just so good. They provide so much connectivity, so much mobility, and you can see here that Kerrigan is just spamming a lot of these Nice Worms just to draw aggro of these Purifier beams and keep them off the army. So Kerrigan has jumped in now, and I think Kerrigan might be in a little bit way over depth. Oh, there we go. So we have a pulse scan that gets dropped onto this area, ends up wiping out a lot of the enemy units here. And they're just to focus far down with this drill, just to take this drill out. And now they are going to start pushing and clearing this enemy base. It is a little bit ballsy because there is the harvesting bots are already making their way towards the enemy base. But there is an attack wave, there is a harass wave that spawns. Harass wave ends up spawning on top of this army and then cleaning up this base. But now there's another attack wave here. A harass wave that gets spawned. But again, Omega Worms really OP. The Queens and Thors are already in position. And now there's another harass wave on top here. Here, a bit of Swann's army is just starting to push through and take out these enemy buildings. They might actually be able to do it if they end up slaying their armies here. So we have a bunch of scouts. You have to be really careful because the scouts can actually hit ground units. So we have Swann's army getting unloaded here. Going up this side. Another harass wave on here. Corsairs, not really a big deal. There are no air units to take care of. And the area has been cleaned up as well. Now we have a bunch of carriers that have spawned. Slightly stronger attack wave. And so we'll have to deal with these carriers. There's a focus fire down on the carriers here, which is really good play here for Swann. The scouts are annoying. And we get these carriers out of the way. There's a lot of problems. We have another spawn here of a harass wave, and again, Swann's army is in position. It does end up losing a few Thors here, but these things get caught out by the Purifier beam, which is causing, which means he's going to end up losing some of his units here. But now Kerrigan has used her queens to move the queens out of the Nice Worm, and there we go. That is that harass wave done. I think that is one of the last few harass waves that will be spawning here. We have a bunch of Thors again. Unfortunately here they are not focus firing down the carriers here, but Kerrigan unloads the queens from her Nice Worms now and ends up cleaning up the harass wave. Still a little bit more cleaning up. There's drill versus drill now, and the drill ends up going down. The Amon drill is down. And there we go. There's another immobilization wave that gets dropped here with an assimilation aura. Instantly wipes out pretty much everything here. Kerrigan Swann, so get unloaded. And now they are good to go. So there's another harass wave here, but I don't know where Swann's army is. The harass wave is a little bit slow anyway. It's not really a big deal. But these players, okay, these players want to try and clear out this side. But there's gonna be an attack wave that'll be spawning soon now as well, which will be a bit of a problem, I think. Or maybe the attack wave did get cleared up, but I'm not sure. There we go. So there's another bunch of harass waves that are spawning on this side. I didn't even see the attack wave get cleaned up, which is there we go. So this side is getting handled by Kerrigan and someone's army here. Okay, there we go. There's that attack wave I was talking about. Didn't miss it. It just didn't spawn yet. I was not paying attention to the timing. There we go. This is one of the scarier attack waves in this mission, but there's a hybrid behemoth here, not a hybrid dominator, which is kind of good. Both the armies unload out of that Nihilist swarm and just end up cleaning up this attack wave so quickly. This Gary is just getting melted by the queens of the Thors there. And this hybrid dominator is just looking at it like, where did my life go wrong? I still don't know if they're going to be able to clear it up before this bot finishes. I don't think they are. They're just a little bit too late. And yeah, that bot has gone back in. And that is the end of the mission. Unfortunately, not an all clear, but very, very close. And that is GG.